Welcome to Sisters Not Saints, the podcast where we give real-life advice from the sisters you've always wanted.
Featuring two real-life sisters, Kristen and Megan, and two real-life sisters-in-law, Hillary and Zoe.
Sisters not saints. You might think they're saints, but some of them are sisters. Two of them have misters, but there's one thing that's for certain, it's their sisters not saints.
Hey guys, I'm Megan.
Hillary.
Kristen.
And Zoe.
Still in Memphis. Jinx.
So guys, you know how Leonardo DiCaprio is all over the news lately about his dumping of 25-year-old girls?
Yes, I was really into that.
Okay. I'm into that too, but the thing I find interesting is that one of his ex-girlfriends came forward and she said that she had the worst date of her life with Leonardo DiCaprio. And she described it as him renting out an entire cinema, and he made her watch every Star Wars movie while he ran around with his lightsaber pretending to fight bad guys. And she's it's one of his ex-girlfriends, and she said that was the worst date of her life, but that's totally what it's like dating him. And so all this news coming out about how he doesn't date anyone older than 25, and he's getting the feedback, everyone's saying oh, he won't date anyone older than 25. But really, when you hear that, I feel like girls probably turn 25 and they're like, what is with this guy?
Yeah.
They're probably grow up.
Yeah. They outgrow him.
I'm not going to go sit in a movie theater with you while you're chasing bad guys. That is so weird to me.
But did you hear Oh, go ahead, Zoe.
I'm really surprised that she was allowed to say that because they've got to all have NDAs, and that's why we don't really know why they're breaking up or what the stories are. So I'm really surprised that she's able to get away with even saying that.
Do we know when she dated him?
Right. I don't. We could look it up.
Because if it was a really long time ago, he could have been 20 years younger, too.
Right. Look her up. Her name is Camilla Moroni.
Camilla Moroni. And maybe her NDA expired.
Yeah, or maybe she didn't have one. Maybe it wasn't that serious.
No. He makes them sign it before he even goes on a date with them.
Oh, for
sure.
Yeah, I would imagine that.
They sign it before his agent calls them asking on a date for him.
Does he have a new girlfriend?
Yes, Gigi Hadid.
He's courting Gigi.
Oh.
And she's 27, so
She's 27?
Yeah.
So is she
Also, she has a kid, right? With one of the One Direction guys?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Or is that the other Hadid?
No, that's Gigi. Okay, so he just broke up with this Camilla Moroni, so her NDA couldn't be expired. Yeah. She's 25.
Yeah, well, I guess maybe that's the one that he just dumped.
Do you think she knew it was coming? She's like, oh, damn, I just had my birthday. Here it comes.
Anyway, when I was reading this, I was thinking back to a really bad first date that I had with this guy, and it was a long time ago, but we went to this hibachi restaurant, and I'm so low-key. I never want to be the center of attention, but this guy was totally opposite. The whole time, he was, catching shrimp in his mouth. He was talking to the whole table. Every time the server would come around, he would ask, very directly, can you refill her drink, please? She needs a refill. And it was the drink was, 70% full. And when it came time to place our orders, he was like, she'll have the most expensive thing on the menu. Bring her the lobster. And I was like, no, I was in high school. That's not how I eat. I don't eat lobster at a hibachi restaurant in high school. I don't need you to order for me. Anyway, I got home at 9:00. My mom was like, that must not have gone well. And it didn't, but I had already invited him to prom. So we got to prom, and I couldn't get out of it. He went to a different high school. Anyway, it was already planned, and I was dreading it because we'd had this horrible first date. We get to prom, and he starts having tummy issues. So all of a sudden, we walk into the Opryland Hotel here in Nashville, where our prom was, walk into the building. He vanishes. He runs into the bathroom. He's in there for half an hour while I'm standing out there in my dress. All my friends are walking by. They're like, hey, come pose for pictures. Where's your date? He's still in the bathroom. Finally, one of my friends goes in and they're like, oh man, he's in bad shape in there. It's not sounding good. He finally comes out 20 minutes after the first 30 minutes. He'd been in there almost an hour, sweating, red-faced. And he was like, sorry, I forgot I'm allergic to MSG.
I forgot.
I had to get it all out before I could go dance.
Oh my God.
I know. I was like, my 17-year-old self was so mortified because first of all, I'm like, it only came out one of two ways. And now I have to go dance with you and hang out with you. You did not brush your teeth. I don't know what happened in there. Took forever. We're late to prom. And then he gets to prom. He starts telling everyone we meet at my school about what had happened in the bathroom. And then about this trip he had taken over the summer where he ended up like doing this really embarrassing dance with pelvic thrusts out in the middle of the dance floor in front of everyone. So everyone started calling him the pelvic thruster. And I was like, oh my God, like I so do not want to be a part of this and I cannot escape this guy. And then our last date was after prom. I somehow got convinced to go out with him again. And he invited me to meet him at the mall. And then we did. And I ended up sitting in the back of his truck while he played music and sat on a lawn chair in the back of his truck.
At the mall?
At the mall. At the
That sounds like the perfect high school date.
food court parking lot. I guess if you liked the person, but I was so turned off by all of his other antics that forever and ever, for like the rest of the year, everyone was like, where's the pelvic thruster? Is he in the bathroom? Ha ha ha. And so it was horrible.
No, it sounds bad.
So you really relate to
Bad. But anyway,
Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend?
yeah, and I looked him up and he is now an ER doctor.
Wow.
Oh,
So he redeemed himself.
You could be married to that.
The pelvic thruster.
The pelvic thruster.
Dr. Pelvic Thruster.
Dr.
Allergic to
Pelvic
MSG and takes an hour in the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some
Yeah.
of that sounds like James.
I don't know. Anyone else have any bad dates?
Come on, Zoe. You've got to have one or two.
nothing that's like
So bad.
You know, spectacularly bad. Like there was one recently where he brought his dog because I wanted his dog there, obviously, and the dog did not belong in the bar. It was not a bar dog.
What kind of dog was it?
Behaved well, it was a huge dog who was like trying to run all over the place. And then we go to bowl. This other guy shows up, so he bowls with us. And then when girls come over to pet the dog, he was like, "How rude that those girls can't they tell we're on a date?" And I was
Oh
like,
my God.
"There's another guy here. The date ended a long time ago." And then I left and went home.
What bowling alley were you at that you could bring a dog?
The place in Nashville.
The one
Dave and Buster's,
downtown.
right?
No, it's like a
Pins
8-bit.
mechanical.
Yeah.
You could bring a dog there?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
My bad date story is when I went on one of Zoe's dates. Do you remember
in
in New York, she had a first date with somebody that she was nervous about going by yourself with, and so she made it a double date with me and Peter. And it was a
Well, it's not as
blind date. I
weird.
don't remember how it got set
which-
up. But
Oh, that guy.
we went and ate somewhere like in the East Village or somewhere like kind of trendy. And I can't remember what kind of food it was, but I just remember he like wasn't into it. He wanted like the plainest, blandest, like least interesting
It was
food.
either was it like African or Indian or something?
Something like that. And he was like just really not enthused, which is fine. But it's a first date. And like we would ask like every question we asked, he'd just be like, yep, no. Or Peter would be like talking about video games. He's like, oh, I don't play video games.
You're not a
This-
gamer.
We would like change, but like no matter what subject we brought up, he just like would
Just,
not
like, shut it
like
down.
the conversation just ended with him.
Do you think he was
Yeah,
just
he
so
was-
not into it? Like,
No, he
Well,
was
he was
really
just a friend of a friend, so it was just like, "Hey, go out with this guy." So I was like, "Great, I'm not gonna go with him alone." Like,
yeah, and he was nice. He was just very boring. Like we kept like Peter and I were texting like, God, this guy is so boring. And then we went to this popsicle place. Do you remember after? It was like this really cool, like at the time it was more unique. Now they're everywhere, but it had like like jalapeno and strawberry popsicle and hibiscus and lime and like
also, we had been talking about the popsicle place the whole time because we were really excited to go there, and he was
yes.
saying he was excited.
And we were
Sort
all
of.
so we get there and Peter's like, I'm gonna get like the margarita pickle popsicle, and like we're all getting like the craziest. We're all gonna like, let's try each other's, it'll be good. And he's the last one, and they're like, what would you like? And he goes, vanilla. And it was so like, of course
And he
he got
said,
vanilla.
And then he said, "I don't really like popsicles."
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
And it was,
Okay,
like,
actually, I forgot all about this, but now that I remember this, when we were going down there on the subway, we got off, and somehow Peter and Hilly got off and the doors closed, so I had to ride with him like another 2 stops and figure out how to get back to y'all, and it was the most awkward 20 minutes. Why did we get separated? Do you remember
No,
that?
I don't remember that at all.
Maybe they were
We probably
trying-
did it on purpose.
Right, I
We
was
were probably like, get out of here,
See ya,
This is
vanilla.
Mr. Vanilla.
They were probably trying to give y'all
You
alone
must
time.
have.
Oh my
funny.
gosh.
Too bad Vanilla and Pelvic Thruster couldn't get together because Pelvic Thruster could have
his-
done all the talking.
his update, he's not a doctor, but he did buy an old ambulance and live in it for a year.
That
Are you
actually is
serious?
shocking. Like I would imagine him driving like a Honda Civic.
Right. Going to
Living
like his
in-
like 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Oh
believe
my
that he was
gosh.
going on an adventure. Yeah.
What does he do in his
Good
ambulance?
for him. Maybe we encouraged him to be adventurous.
He was traveling the world in the ambulance.
kind of cool.
Man.
That's really
Wow.
cool. Does he have like a public page about it?
I don't know.
That would be so. I'm so interested in following that journey.
Well, I joined TikTok this week, and so I've been sick all week also. So I've had tons of time to explore TikTok. And so part of what prompted the worst date experience also was did you know there's a whole thing called swinger talk on TikTok?
Well, there's any kind of talk.
There's lots of talks. I've been sucked into many talks. Criminal talk, swinger talk, like you name it. I've been sucked into it this week because they're learning my algorithm. But
Welcome to the new generation.
but the bad thing is, it's so interesting to me that this is going to be my algorithm now. I'm going to be known as like swinger criminal TikTok girl. But no,
You're really interested in swingers?
when they show me their
Well, who
information,
isn't?
I'm like, oh God, I've got to learn more about this. Yeah, because
Yeah.
Wait,
okay, so
I'm confused.
I'm going to explain. So on TikTok, there's a whole genre of women who are married to men. They're in a relationship where they live in the same house. They're married, but they send their husbands out to clubs to pick up other women, and they bring them back, and they talk about their experiences on TikTok. So they tell like how the date went, where the husband met this girl. The girl shows up. Like there's different girls that come over and show up. They show little bits of kind of like their activities. They talk about their experiences. The wife will say, okay, on the first night, I let the guest girl sleep in the king bed with my husband, and I sleep at the foot of the bed. And that way they get to know each
foot of
other,
the
but
bed?
I'm still there.
Like a dog?
Yes. Yes. And they like cycle new women in and out. They do these little TikTok dances together. The husband's there looking like happy as a clam, like he's got this perfect arrangement. It is so weird.
Do they use upside down pineapples?
No, but I learned about that on TikTok also. If you're on a cruise ship and you see a bunch of doors that have pineapples that are upside down, that's the swingers section of the cruise ship.
Oh my
So
gosh.
just-
Okay, so be on the lookout for that in October.
Yeah. Should we bring our own pineapples?
It would be hilarious.
I'm gonna put one on yours and Megan's doors.
It'd be funny to see like if we drew in other swingers. just
Wait,
to-
no, wait. Why would that be funny? We don't want to do
No,
that.
No, we don't want to, but
Wait,
we want their story.
Wait, what if you take a pineapple and cut it in half, and then that shows
You're happy.
you're single and ready to pineapple?
I think
I say
singles
try it.
need their own fruit.
There's a pretty big popular neighborhood here where we live where the rumor is there's lots of people with the upside down pineapples
pineapples?
on their doors and
Ooh.
porches.
My neighbors here in Memphis also have a pineapple on their door.
Seriously?
Oh, wow.
You know
Is it upside down? Because isn't that the thing?
Yeah,
I'll have
I
to
think
go look.
so. You'll have to check because there are a lot of garden flags that have pineapples that I feel like old people buy, not realizing that this is a whole
No, but I think
subculture.
old people are into this too.
Not like I feel like grandma and grandpa have had a pineapple flag, like a happy spring
Oh.
kind of thing.
I bet they have had a pineapple flag.
Well, get them on the podcast.
Have some
I mean, it's definitely, I think, becoming more common. I know my friends who are on the dating apps, they often will have somebody swipe on them who's like, I'm married and my wife and I are both looking to date. And-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really interesting. The other thing on marriage talk that comes up a lot in mine is these like, I don't know what you would call them. Like, I guess age difference relationships. So it's younger women, 20s to 30s, with these fancy watches, Range Rovers, like the nicest cars, all of the aesthetic, like things that people do, fillers and whatever, all of the hair extensions, the good makeup, the good clothes. And then all they do on TikTok is brag about how they basically convinced a rich 50-year-old to marry them. And then they out the ex-wife's business constantly on TikTok. They're like, oh, his ex-wife follows everything I do. And like they'll post all these videos about it. And it's just like there's so much dirt out there on TikTok that people are exposing.
What's amazing to me is how weird TikTok is because I see none of this on my TikTok. And what I still think would be a fun activity for like a Friday night is everybody shows like the first 5 videos that come up on your TikTok.
That would be fun.
Because it would be interesting to see like, okay, so that's the kind of like stuff you're swiping on that like TikTok thinks you want to see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mine will be all cheer flips.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what you're into? Kristen's into the
Well,
swingers and you're into cheerleaders?
Well, it's From the the show.
Yeah.
The cheer.
Yeah.
What's it, Gabby?
Yes.
What's her last name? But once you watch one of hers, it
It's
shows
all
you
you get.
everyone else who's ever been on the team, who's on the Olympic team. I know all their stories now.
Yeah.
So mine would just be all.
Have you watched both seasons of Cheer?
Of course.
Multiple times.
Yeah, it's good. Did you ever watch it, Kristen?
Oh,
we
no.
really
I couldn't
must.
get into it.
Really?
Oh,
it's
it's
so
so
good,
good.
especially season 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so good.
Season 2 got a little
couldn't get
wonky, but
That's how I get myself through the day is
Wow.
by telling myself I can, I will, I must.
Do you have like Monica's voice recorded and you just play it?
I just say it over and over in my own head.
that's what your tattoo should be.
It's funny. You're
I
like
can,
that
I will, I
much.
must.
No, that should be our next group activity is tattoos.
Yes, let's do
Cheerleading,
it.
tumbling,
No,
yeah, taking
tattoos.
cheerleading class.
doing the pyramid.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, the other one is criminal TikTok. Have you guys ended up there where they give you like unethical life hacks, like things to get ahead
No.
that aren't quite ethical, but like they work?
No.
Do you want to know a couple or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
They say if you make your prefix doctor on things like hotel rooms, they'll upgrade your room when possible. So it's like, it's not ethical, but like,
I like that.
it's not
yeah.
harming
Yeah.
anyone. If you don't want someone to sit next to you on like, maybe not a flight, a flight probably wouldn't work unless it were not a full flight, but a movie theater, if you don't want someone to sit next to you, spill your drink and then no one will sit next to you. So you've got like some space around you.
Of course, because the seat is wet.
They said actually spill it on the seat, but that
That's
seems
not
a little
nice.
much. So
That's
yeah,
unethical.
exactly.
Yeah,
They
that's bad.
say if you need to make a phone call, but you don't want to talk about, or you don't actually want to talk to the person, but you need to show that you made an effort, just put it on airplane mode and then try to dial. So it'll show that a call was missed, but you have there's like no risk of the person actually answering.
Shout out.
If you're in a cheap motel with no fridge and you need a fridge, tell them that you need to refrigerate your insulin. And they'll bring one up to your room.
Could you also say breast milk?
Yeah, I would think that would work too. You could try one of those. If you're in a slow taxi, you can start coughing and sneezing, and they'll usually drive faster to drop you off faster. They say if you get pulled over by a police officer and you don't want the ticket, you can act deaf, and they will usually let you go, which is very unethical, I think.
Yeah, but your license on the back will
Right.
say
It would tell if you had any special
It probably wouldn't
conditions.
work. But I will say Megan and I used to do this a lot as kids.
You acted deaf?
Yeah.
Yes. So in 5th grade, I taught myself American Sign Language. I went to a school that was for like theater arts and dance, and also kids that were deaf. I don't know if that's the most appropriate. I feel like there's probably a more updated term.
No, I think it's hearing impaired.
Hearing impaired. Okay. And so I had a lot of friends that I wanted to communicate with a little better. And I got this cool book and it taught me how to communicate with them. I wasn't like the most fluent person, but enough to communicate with these kids. And then there were times that we would go places and they would ask us to come on stage and be a part of the show. And Megan and I were like, no, like we did not want to be the center of attention. And so I would respond in sign language and pretend to be deaf. And it happened more than one time.
Unethical.
Unethical. But it did get us out of being
I taught
on
myself
stage.
American Sign Language when I was little too.
You did?
Of course, we both
That's
did.
hilarious. See, our auras were the same for a reason.
Because you both were
I'm-
teaching yourself sign language.
I'm just live fact checking because
I love it.
I thought Hillary might have been wrong.
Hmm.
It's not hearing impaired because deaf is not a bad word.
Hmm.
That's why a lot of them don't get the implants and don't want to have hearing. So deaf is not a bad word. But also I guess hard of hearing is okay.
Okay. Well,
So
good
they
to know.
do want to be called the deaf community.
Okay.
Okay, so
That's
no.
I
good
think
to
it's
know.
new, kind of like how we used to say midgets, but now that's completely unacceptable.
Right.
Right. We never
And then they
call
turned into little people, and
Mhm.
I think it's something.
Wait,
else
so is
now,
it
maybe.
not okay to say hearing impaired?
hard of hearing.
They're not hearing impaired means that there is something wrong with them.
Okay.
Right. Okay. It's more about like
But
their
they-
identity. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were born deaf.
That makes
Or
sense.
are
Right.
deaf, and that is who they are. That is their
Right.
community.
Right. Right. Okay. That's good to know. Another thing you can do if you have a test and you're worried you're going to fall asleep is put a Band-Aid on your arm before. And if you fall asleep and your teacher comes over and says something, you can say, oh, I'm sorry. The blood bank told me I'd be tired. Like blame it on the fact that you had blood drawn.
Oh my gosh, that's stupid.
Well,
I know. Oh, but here's one. If you want to annoy someone or you have someone in your life that just needs to be taken down a peg, when you're introducing them to someone else and you describe their job, put their job in air quotes. So like you could say, hi, meet my friend Zoe. She's a costume designer and like putting in air quotes automatically.
People
Like,
do that for me.
Because I was also thinking, I was like, okay, so then would it work with, oh, Hillary, she's a teacher.
if you put anything in air quotes when you're introducing someone, it automatically deflates them.
Kristen is a stay-at-home mom.
Right. Like it automatically, there's judgment with the air quotes.
Yeah.
So.
I think it's hilarious though.
Yeah, that is funny.
Like this is my friend Frank. He's a doctor. He's probably really a doctor. Like,
I'll start doing it with James.
But what would you
even say?
Because that's what I was waiting for someone to do it to me, and I'm like, well, how would you
Wait,
describe
No,
my
I couldn't.
job?
I have
I
no
know they
idea
can
what
say
your
James
job
is
is.
a dad.
James works in IT.
He's in infrastructure architecture. Wink, wink.
Peter's a transponster.
Oh, I have another good one that we could use.
Okay.
If you ever give someone a gift and it's a gift card, write down all of the information on that gift card, the number and everything, and then a year later check to see if they've used it. And if they haven't, use it yourself because
that
they've
is
probably
interesting.
forgotten about it, and then they won't remember if they've used it or not. So that way you at least,
That is interesting, but normally you have to scratch off like a little back piece.
I guess so. But
Honestly, most people
But
should do
what
that
a
with me. I'm
bad-
horrible at
too.
using
I
gift
know, me
cards.
too.
Oh,
What a bad gift though. Someone gives it to me and I'm busy and I'm waiting and I'm like, oh, I'm finally gonna go and use this and it's empty.
But a lot of times I get them and I'm like, wait, did I spend this Target gift card or not? I would not ever suspect anything. And then one last one, if you get into a car accident, like a minor, you're backing out of a spot,
You hurry, take off, and run away.
again, this is unethical life hacks. If you keep those business cards that people give you of people you don't like, leave that business card on.
That's so unethical.
It's
And
so
also,
unethical.
that's criminal.
That is criminal. Yeah. I told
Yeah.
you it's
Yeah,
criminal
that's
talk.
more than unethical.
Yeah,
Criminal
that's too
talk.
far. I will say the first one you said about putting doctor before your name. This girl that I follow on TikTok, she's I guess in her late 20s, but looks really young. She was going and trying to buy a new car, and she said every time she went, everybody just like treated her like crap because she looks like this young girl coming in. So she was like, okay, the next place I go to, I'm going to introduce myself as Dr. So-and-so. And she said that changed their tune so much. So I
I'm
guess it
sure.
works.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah,
a great
Dr.
idea.
Hillary.
Yeah.
I have the lab coat you can wear.
Yeah. There you go. Dr. Hillary.
When I wouldn't feel guilty about it, like at a car salesman.
No,
talking to them.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's like the perfect place to try it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, go buy a new
Absolutely.
car.
Except they might think that you have a lot of money, so they might not be willing to compromise or negotiate.
But I feel like they would just treat you as
Dr.
more.
Hillary, PhD.
Yeah.
Dr. Hillary.
All right. Well, now that we've talked so much about toxic relationships, I think we should get to our questions because we've always got some toxic relationships that need our advice. All right. This first question is not about a toxic relationship, but it is dating related.
If I know our listeners, I'm sure a toxic relationship question is right around the corner.
Exactly. Who isn't in a toxic relationship?
Right.
Okay, so this person asked, how can I meet somebody in real life? I'm from a small town. I travel some for work, but it's hard to get out and meet people. I've been on the apps for a while and I'm just tired of swiping and chatting, and I want an opportunity to be out and meet somebody in the real world. Any tips?
Yeah, you've got to get out into the real world. You've got to join groups. You need to join a gym. You can look for free events at parks, little hobby classes you can pick up.
And if you really want to kick this into high gear, I'm going to give a throwback to episode 3, and you need to vab at the gym.
We can't tell everyone to vab. We're trying to get people out of the vabbing world.
Fab. Fab it
Also,
up.
what if this is a guy? What would that even be called?
I don't want to know. Don't do it. Don't attempt it. It won't work.
See, it does not work in the reverse at all. Like that becomes disgusting to think about men doing this.
Yeah.
Well, they can't.
Exactly.
Meaning,
Right. So why could women
Did you say
vab,
seeming?
but men can't dab?
Seeming.
Yeah. No, I don't want them to be steaming around.
No.
But Zoe and Megan, who are actually single, do you have any tips for meeting people in the real world?
Yes, Zoe, what are your tips for meeting people in the real world?
my tips are certainly not to listen to two people who met their significant others, one in high school. Yeah, okay, Megan, go join club and get out of the house.
No.
No,
That's why I
gyms.
pointed the question to you.
Well, they say
Yeah, my
gyms,
advice is-
grocery stores, like
Okay, my advice
hobbies.
is don't listen to your married friends. And just when they say nice things to you, just tune them out. It's they mean well.
Right.
So where do
And
you
just-
think? What do you think?
Well, here's what I am a big believer in. You're going to meet someone when you least expect it. You're not going to be on the prowl at a club or on the prowl in the grocery store. That only happens in sitcoms. Have you ever met anybody in real life that's like, well, I was strolling the aisles of Publix and I just found myself a man? No, that doesn't happen.
No, but I had a guy hardcore trying with me at the Candle Barn this weekend.
The candle, first of all.
What's it called? White Barn.
But she did. So Kristen and I got into a little spat in the middle of Bath and Body Works this weekend.
Over a man?
No, this was over her
over the
sticking candles
smelling.
in my faces over and
I
over.
was trying to make her smell too many candles. And so then I was like, fine, I'll just meet you back at the car. You buy your own candles. And then
She met up with me at the
I walk up
register.
to her and I pass her and she's having this like hardcore conversation with a man in line who's like, oh, tell me what kind of candles you got. Oh, what does that one smell like? And Kristen's just like,
I'm having to open my candles and I'm trying to like get him to see my ring, and I'm like, this one smells like this.
and it was
so
just,
annoying.
It was so awkward looking. And he was like pointing, he's like, oh, look at the sign. It says they've got $2.95 candles. I didn't see any of those candles anywhere. Did you?
Yeah, and it wasn't like polite small talk. I mean, it was like very obvious.
Yeah, it was very obvious what he was doing.
putting out feelers. If I had been more interested, he might have asked me out.
She could have had herself a sugar daddy.
So
I mean, I know I'm married for a long time now, but they are asking how to meet people in real life. And I don't think the
Yeah.
gym and getting out's a bad idea. I had a guy ask for my number at Target on 2 different occasions. Wasn't Publix, but it was Target.
Well, and Kristen's getting at the White Barn. So, I mean, yeah, maybe go to the stores
You
more.
just got to be open to
Right.
the world. You never know.
And I do think
who's
that's
gonna
good
come
advice.
across,
Like, you do
and-
need to be open to little small talk and chatting with people and being open
Yeah.
and friendly. And
I've had a guy ask me out at the gym.
but you know what it is? I think it's because we're putting off these like unavailable vibes that it probably draws people in. I think if you're actually single, guys aren't like as I don't know, they're into this chase thing, you know?
so
Well,
here's
I
what
don't think that's all guys. I think if you're out and you're open to it, you're willing to meet people, then you will.
Yeah. You have to put yourself in situations where people might be, where single people might be. I mean, if you're not going out in the real world and you're only on apps, you won't meet people in the real world. That was her question. It was like, how do I meet
Yeah.
people in the real world?
you go into the real
Take
world.
a break from the apps and go out in the real world. Join a church, join a gym, join a group, join an art class, like join a hiking club. There's meetup groups for everything these days.
And also ask your friends if they know anybody.
Really?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I hate setting up friends.
But some people really like it and some people are really good
That's
at
true.
setting their friends up. And also your friends know you, so they know your likes and dislikes and they know like, oh, you're not going to like Chuck, but you might like Rob.
I did introduce 2 friends who got married and
Yeah.
have a baby.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so I would ask your friends if they know anybody, if, you know, you've got friends with brothers.
It's true. One of our friends did introduce us.
Right. So it's like, you never know who's going to hit it off.
All right. Well,
Good luck to you.
good luck out there in the real
But also,
world.
like I've said before, it's okay to be single. It's okay to be alone for a bit. There's no shame in that. More people should take pauses between relationships or just more time being comfortable with themselves.
You won't be happy with someone else till you're happy by yourself.
Okay, I've got a question for us. This listener says that they are 40 years old and their 43-year-old sister wishes the listener had died of cancer so that the sister could have all the money from their parents' estate.
Oh my God.
She goes on to say, we haven't always gotten along. She did not come to visit me when I was dying of cancer in the hospital. And then in the middle of that, our dad passed away and we inherited the estate. She says she wishes I had just died so she could have gotten everything. How do we move forward? I'm really hurt and I don't know if I ever want to speak with her again.
I can see why. I mean, I think you could try to say like, this is toxic and effed up and you need to work on this. But if they're not willing to, I mean, you might not, I don't know, you might not be able to.
And this may be controversial, but I think it's totally okay to cut off toxic family members. And if your sister, who knows that you had cancer and almost died, is telling you, I wish that you had died so I could have more money, Yeah, I think that could be relationship ending.
I think it is relationship ending because if you value money over your sister's relationship, then why do you even want to have a relationship with this person?
Or over anybody's life.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that's
exactly. I would much rather have my parents, than their estate or their money. Who cares about money? I mean, that's a privileged
We
thing
all
to
heard
say.
her say it here.
I'm just saying, I mean, that is a privileged thing to even say. Like, who cares about money? I understand that. But I'm saying, to a certain extent, you'd much rather have your relationships and your family and your friends even than like some inheritance.
yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
And it's hard to cut somebody off, but sometimes it is healthier for you, even if it's a family member, to just...
And maybe you don't have to cut her totally off, but definitely lots of boundaries, lots of walls need to go up, and you go from there. And if it doesn't improve, or if she doesn't show remorse for these terrible things she said, then yeah, you cut off and you'd be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to know the extent of the involvement she has in your life. I mean, if it's someone that you don't even see that often, then, just let it go. Who cares? Move on with life. But if it's someone that's really close to you, I mean, maybe even talk about going to therapy together.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate when you have someone that is your family that is that toxic, you have to cut out. But the same way that you can kind of cut someone out of your life that's a relative, you can also have anybody be your family.
Exactly.
You can have friends that are family or like the family you marry into, or, there's lots of different ways to have your own family.
Yeah, that's why I think a lot of people hold on to toxic family members because the idea of cutting off family members seems terrifying. But if someone is toxic, it doesn't matter if they're your family.
Yeah. You'd rather have healthy, happy, loving relationships.
Someone that wants you
listening,
dead.
but I did just hear you say you're trying to cut out people that you married and you're not getting cut off, right?
You are now.
You'll have to listen to the episode and find out.
That's funny.
Zoe. All right. So I've got a question. We are having our second child this winter, and I am thinking of throwing my own sprinkle. We don't have any family here, and with the due date being close to the holidays, I think it would be easier to host something myself. Has anyone done this?
I've never done this,
But I think it's okay to do.
but I think it's totally okay to do.
Do you?
Well, okay, wait. Is the question, is it okay to have a sprinkle, which is a second baby shower, just smaller?
No, I think the question was to throw her own
throw her
sprinkle.
own. I think so. I think
I
that's
think
fine.
so. Why can't she throw her own sprinkle, Hillary?
We're moving more toward women being independent,
I don't
and a
know,
lot
I
of
just-
women are having their own babies with no men involved. So why then, if they have no family or friends to do it for them, why can't they celebrate themselves?
But if you have no family or friends, who's going to go to your sprinkle?
Well, maybe they don't have family or friends that can throw it, like that are willing to do the
Well,
planning.
because that's what she says is we don't have
spend
any
the money.
family here.
But maybe they would send gifts or buy from a registry or do something from afar or even come
I
in.
could just, I guess I worry, I'm insecure myself. And then if I were to throw my own sprinkle or shower, that people would think I was, I don't know.
Self-absorbed.
Yeah, or too much. But, I guess it depends on the person. And sure, yeah, do it. You want it. I don't know. I worry that it would come off as odd.
I think you should do it. But this is coming from someone who never had a shower ever.
Megan,
And
are you serious?
at work for my second baby, they even offered to throw a sprinkle. It was going to be like a diaper sprinkle where everyone just brought diapers. And I said no because I thought, well, like I just had a baby.
You said no to
20
people
months
getting you
ago.
diapers?
I was like, I don't need that's just so unnecessary. I don't need all the attention. I feel
Megan.
so uncomfortable in those kinds of situations where I'm like opening gifts in front of people. It makes me so nervous.
Yes, Zoe.
Why didn't you throw her a baby shower?
Seriously.
For all the reasons she just said. I don't think.
I'm just
But did you
wondering.
offer to throw it?
No, but she wouldn't have
But at
shown
the time,
up.
but here's the thing: at the time when I was pregnant with my first baby, I wasn't even really on speaking terms with my family. Like it was so volatile then that things were just like I was in the pregnancy alone with just Megan and James, basically.
That makes sense. I was
So-
just mad that Megan wouldn't have thrown you a shower.
Well, but so that's my perspective is coming from someone that's never had a shower, and not that I regret it, but I think if it's something you want, you should have what you want.
Yeah, I agree. If you feel comfortable doing it, then do it.
Mhm. Because I do look back and I think, well, that would have been fun. I wish I had been in a place in life where I could have had a group of friends together and we could have celebrated this baby together and I had more support. And so if you need to create that for yourself, you should do it. Absolutely.
Yeah, especially if you don't have family here, then yes. Celebrate with your friends.
I do hear what Hillary's saying, though, about feeling like it is a little, you're asking for the comments like, oh, she had to throw her own. She just had to go and throw her own baby shower.
Yeah, and it being a second, like I don't see anything wrong with the sprinkle, and I didn't want one, but a sprinkle, which is I guess a second baby shower, specifically because I knew people who had them and people who were invited saying things like, "You're not supposed to have a baby. You already had a baby shower. Like you don't have a baby shower with a second baby." Making comments, and I was like, I don't want to be that person. And same like I had 2 showers with my first because you had one here and one in Texas. And, you know, like, yeah, I didn't need all new things. But then I was surprised by my friends with a sprinkle. And it was super nice and super fun. And I got a lot of diapers and the things you need with a second baby. And it was great. But I didn't want to be that person who had like a second baby shower. So but yeah, I guess, you shouldn't give a shit what anybody else
Wait,
thinks.
so do you regret that now that you were just thinking about other people's opinions of you? That you would have wanted.
Yeah, well, and I didn't care then because then it was like a surprise. I had nothing to do with it. It wasn't, I wasn't throwing a shower or anything. Like I had no idea. And it was, I was really happy that they did it. It was nice.
My recommendation, if you don't feel comfortable throwing yourself a sprinkle, which I don't think is a problem, you should, if you want to, do it. But once the baby is born, host a sip and see, which is then on you to plan because you're inviting people over to have lemonade or drinks, whatever you want to do, and see the baby. And they also bring gifts for that. So
the idea as a
who
new
wants
mom
to host having a newborn?
No, that sounds like a nightmare.
Well, no, it's not like the day the baby comes home. It's whenever you're comfortable. It could be 3 months down the road, and
3
people
years
still
down the road.
Yeah, it just takes so long.
Hey, let's host a sip and see for Kristen now.
I've got 3 kids.
Right.
Oh my god.
Ask people to bring gifts.
No, do what makes you happy. Don't worry about anyone else.
Yeah.
Get that sprinkle going.
Yeah. You get that coin, sister.
Yeah.
I hope you get a lot of diapers.
Yep. All right. So moving on to our next question. I am planning a Disney trip. What must I see or do on my vacation?
This person clearly tapped into the fact that we are Disney fanatics.
Yes. We all take, I would say, except for Zoe, who is weighing us down a little bit in the Disney category, but
Although she worked there for like 5 years.
Yeah, and she's going on a Disney cruise with us.
Yeah, but we all take multiple Disney vacations a year, I would say.
But we don't want to share our secrets with the whole world.
Yeah.
Our secrets are our secrets, and they're hard earned, and we keep them very close to the vest. And we are not telling you how to navigate through these parks.
My advice is if you are not familiar with the parks, it is very difficult, and you should get a Disney planner. There's tons of Disney vacation planners, and I've heard wonderful things about them, and I think that is 100% what you should do, is have someone plan it for you and tell you what to do. It's almost too much for the people who go all the time now. Go into it expecting it to be really exhausting. Not really a vacation, but to be super fun. But just go in with that mentality, get a planner to do all that, and you're good. If we get too deep into it, we'll just very quickly spiral into making this a Disney podcast.
I mean, there's so many tips I could give you. Right now, I'm sitting here thinking, if you're going to Magic Kingdom and you don't have early entry because you're not staying on property, you need to go left instead of right.
Yeah.
Because they'll line up the hotel guests right, but you need to go left.
Yeah.
And this is why you get a Disney vacation planner.
Yeah. Exactly. But also feel free to DM me because I always like to help people plan their vacations too.
But don't DM me because I don't want to give you too many tips.
No.
And then send us your picture with your mouse ears. Yeah. All right. How do I improve my work ethic? I have ADHD. It's pretty severe. I think my work ethic is just subpar. I want to be better. I'm just not sure how to do it.
Oh, well, this doesn't sound like a work ethic thing. It sounds like you have untreated ADHD or there are just things that you can work on in terms of, your executive functioning, because that is so impacted by ADHD and it's not something you can necessarily control.
Yeah. Because I will say I am somebody who has an incredibly high work ethic. if I don't say so myself. But I also have severe ADHD, and I go through periods where I feel like I can manage my ADHD unmedicated. And then sometimes I feel like I need to be on medication. So I actually just went to the doctor this week and got back on medication because I felt like some things were spiraling out of control. So I think if you are diagnosed with ADHD, you do need to talk to your doctor, talk about your symptoms, track your symptoms. Some people can handle things with lifestyle changes, but sometimes it does just get out of control and you do need medication, even if it is temporarily.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no shame in that if you need it. Or if you just need coaching or therapy to help you make some lifestyle or behavioral adjustments, do that. There's no shame in that.
Yeah. And they can even give you tips on how to stay focused at work and little things you can do, like maybe taking short breaks and getting up out of your chair, stretching, just whatever.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, every person is different. Every neurodivergent person is different. I have a son that has sensory processing disorder and one that I suspect has ADHD. So we're going to go through the testing process, and he can never sit still at our table. And I just read a tip online today. There's like this little thing that say if your kids can't sit in their seats, try this tool. It's a little thing that you put at their feet, and it has something that they can rub with their feet. It's like sensory pleasing, and it's like in a little ball that wiggles. And I thought, well, that's so clever. I would never have thought of that. And it is just a minor behavioral adjustment that I think might help him stay in his seat. So I'm going to try it. So I just think being open to trying new things, no matter what you're dealing with, but what helps one person may not help another. And so just be willing to try new things and be open to it.
And that's good. We've all got issues we have to work with.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
We're all neurodivergent on medication. So we're right there with you.
And knowledge is power. Don't be afraid of a diagnosis. You know, the more you know, the better equipped you'll be to handle it.
That's right.
I agree.
We're pro-diagnosis.
You got this. All right. This is a fun question. This listener says that her and her boyfriend are really wanting to explore and be adventurous this summer. They both have the summer off. They're wanting to take a big trip, preferably a road trip, and they want to know what's the coolest road trip we've ever taken, or do we have any special advice for taking a long road trip? Sounds like a summer road trip.
Yeah. So I don't know that I've ever gone on like an epically cool road trip. Because most of my road trips have been like with family and now with Kristen's family. So it usually involves like 3 screaming kids in the car. But I will say I do love driving. Like I would prefer, like we're all about to go to Florida and everybody is flying except for me who is driving. Because I just love driving. I love like, you never know what you're going to see. You never know what stops you're going to make. It's just, I don't know. It's so fun to me. You get to go on your own time. You can, and again, maybe this is just my OCD. You get to leave when you want. You could stay an extra day if you want. I just love the flexibility of a road trip.
I would say build in extra time so that you can make time for the little detours along the way. Like have a framework of a plan, kind of know what your general stops will be, but like allow some time to deviate from your path. But Sam, I've never done one of those epic road trips across America, which I think would be really fun.
I do too.
I would love to do that across Canada too.
Zoe, you want to go on an epically long road trip with me?
I think it would be epically wrong.
You guys should. That'd be so
I know, we
fun
should
to
do
follow.
You want to do it?
We could definitely do that because then we could just sleep in different rooms. And
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. I think we would be
each
perfect.
other.
Yeah, we'd both be arguing over who drives though.
You could take turns. Whoever doesn't drive controls the podcast you listen to.
Yeah, but I think because we both have the driving control issues, we know how the other person likes to be driven, and then we would get like guaranteed front seat. So
Yeah, true.
it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. Okay, let's do it.
All right, you guys should do it and cover it for the podcast.
Yeah. Zoe and Megan take America.
That'd be really
but
fun.
yeah, just have fun with it. Whoever you road trip with, you're going to have moments where you annoy each other. You're going to have moments where you want to leave them on the side of the road. But just have fun with it.
And nothing will go perfectly.
Yeah.
You'll have little things that...
I always tell people when they're traveling, especially a big trip, to expect things to go wrong.
Yeah.
Because they do. And you can just go with the flow and it's fun. Zoe, one time we were in Norway and we were taking a train from Oslo to Sweden. And she had us get on the wrong train for 6 hours going the wrong direction.
That sounds like something
it
Joey
was
would
8
do.
hours, and we went to Stockholm.
Oh, that sounds awesome, though.
And then we had to go 8
No,
hours.
we just had to go the opposite way. We were on this train for so long. It was like the Harry Potter train that they like filmed from. It was like the most beautiful, relaxing train ride, and we were exhausting, so none of us were that mad. But also we had traveled a lot together at that point, and I think we all had that like, yeah, something's gonna go wrong at some point. We're gonna miss a train or whatever, and like it happens.
Yeah.
You just go with the flow.
And you may miss what you initially planned, but sometimes the little things that pop up are even better.
I agree.
Just go with it.
And sadly, I've
that
never
was
had.
the best 8 hours of that trip.
Did you even get out and see Stockholm or no?
We
No,
did.
we had already done it.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, we did like
That
a
does
big
suck.
Scandinavia summer trip, but
That's my dream.
I've never had an epic road. We've had a lot of road trips because we drive a lot with our kids, but never like a road trip that's meant to be like one of those epic sightseeing. It's always
Yeah,
like we're
same.
going to visit family, or we're driving to Disney World, or driving like we have a destination we're getting to. But I will say, don't do an epic road trip. Probably like on the East Coast. I feel like the epic ones are more like West Coast.
Yeah,
from what
that's what I
see.
always think too.
And yeah, all the things you said. Expect things to go wrong. Pack a lot of snacks. Get your podcast ready. Have fun. I mean, it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Especially if you're young, dating. Be fun.
Yeah,
A good way to get to know each other too.
definitely.
Traveling with somebody you're dating is a great way to get to know them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
All right. Well, I had a great time with you guys this week.
Does that wrap up all of our questions?
That's it for the week. If you've got questions, be sure to submit them to sistersnotsaints.com, where it is totally anonymous. You can always DM us at our Instagram account, Sisters Not Saints, or follow us on TikTok at
Sisters Not Saints Podcast is our username for both Instagram and TikTok.
Be sure to catch our new episodes every Wednesday wherever you listen to podcasts, and don't forget to rate us if you love us
Or hate us.
Yeah. No, don't rate us if you hate us.
Yeah, or just rate us positively and then move along with your lives.
Sure. And write us a review. It helps us out. We really appreciate it. We read everything, and we can't wait to get back to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.